Hello and thanks for joining us on this week's episode of Health Options. Health Options is the program that not only tracks government policies on health, but helps you with the right information you need to make informed choices about your health. Thanks for joining us on the program. I am Rabi Abdullah. Throughout the ages, doctors have been revered by the society because of their capabilities and competence. It is therefore the responsibility of each physician to maintain this trust based on professional competence and high ethical standards. Standards of medical education go a long way in shaping the medical practitioners of today and tomorrow. Against the background of an intense competition and globalization of the medical profession, it is imperative that medical graduates are knowledgeable, clinically competent, and demonstrate professionalism. The Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria is saddled with the mandate of determining the standards of knowledge and skill to be attained by persons seeking to become members of the medical or dental profession, as well as reviewing those standards from time to time as circumstances may permit. In 2012, the Council announced that no foreign-trained doctor would be allowed to practice in Nigeria except proof of evidence that he or she could have practiced in their country of study. The Council also introduced the professional assessment exam for foreign-trained medical and dental graduates before they can practice the medical profession in the country. How have all this played out so far? These and more on this episode of Health Options as we take a look at Nigeria's efforts at quality assurance in the training of medical professionals. Join us on Nature's Corner for some do's and don'ts on how to take care of your spine. Thanks for joining us on the program. If you're just joining us, this is Health Options, and our topic is Nigeria's efforts at quality assurance in medical training. With me in the studio to take us through this is the Registrar, Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria, Dr. Tajuddin Sanusi. Glad to have you join us on Health Options, Doctor.
Thank you very much.
Quality encompasses a whole lot of things. I want you to start with the ideal, okay, knowing doctors for what their roles in life, are. Start by telling us the place of the medical doctor in healthcare delivery.
Thank you very much on that. In the health team, the doctor is a leader. And we continue to impress it on our members that the leadership must be earned. If I say earned, you need to be where you are supposed to be at the appropriate place. When it comes to standards, let me start.
Anyway, the leadership thing is contestable because I know the other health professionals they will
always.
It's teamwork and as such everyone.
Yes, if it is a teamwork, somebody must be the leader.
Okay, so
that is not contestable.
Okay,
so now starting from the quality itself, and that is why when universities want to set up medical program, first and foremost, they go to the National Universities Commission to get approval to run MBBS or BDS program. That's MBBS, Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery, or Bachelor of Dental Surgery. Now, after that, they now come to the Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria. The only program being anchored by two ministries is the medical program. Two ministries in the sense that there is a college of health science or medicine, whatever you call it, in the university. Then the workshop for the medical students is the teaching hospital. And without the establishment of the College of Health Sciences, there cannot be established the teaching hospital. So that's why Council continues to insist on a collegiate system, because the provost of the college and the CMD must be on the same page. While the CMD is the chief executive of an institution, not under education, the provost is not, but the provost must report on daily basis or from time to time to the vice chancellor. And because the provost is a doctor, the CMD is equally a doctor, they need to put us together to put the facilities in place for us to have competent doctors being trained at the end of the day. Because at the university level, they get the academic instruction. But at the teaching hospital level, that is where the skill acquisition takes place by way of going to the clinics with the consultant, going to the wards, doing the ward rounds, going to the theaters, and these things are non-negotiable. And that is why, you see, after the first professional exam, the program is laid out. They don't have any semester holiday at all. It's throughout the year, except the holiday in December, which is about 2 weeks.
And
so
they equally spend longer years.
You don't get longer, because if we have to break it down to semesters, they may end up spending 9 years in the universities. Okay. Even in spite of that, we are mindful of the fact that we don't want them to spend more than the necessary number of years. We've had situations where students spend 12 years, 13 years in universities, but now we are very proactive in that.
But that's a strike and all of that. How do you manage that?
Thank you very much. You see, let me say something briefly on ASU strike. You see, when the ASU is on strike, because the medical teachers are members of ASU, they will not give lectures. But because they are honorary consultants to the hospitals, they need to provide services in the hospital. So in the process, the student will still go with the ward round, clinics, and what have you. Okay, that is how we are able, with the resident doctors and everybody, that's how we are able to overcome that. Okay. You understand? Okay. Because you cannot just come from the university and come and shut down the services at the hospital. Okay. Because the teachers are set up for 3 purposes: training, research, and service.
You are a regulator. What are those anomalies playing out? That's back home, before we even go out, outside the shores of the country.
Well, the first problem we identified is lack of spaces. And the lack of spaces is premised on the available resources, both material and human resources. Until recently, in the last 2-3 years, we've had calls to improve on the capacity carrying of our local medical school so that more students can be admitted. At this point, I want to give kudos to NUC for issuing licenses to private universities. If not, we'll still be in serious, because when you look at the proportion of doctors population relationship in this country is far, far below what is expected, because by WHO standards, 1 doctor to every 600. But by the number of registered practitioners we have in this country, is 1 doctor to between 4,000 and 5,000 population. Definitely, we need more doctors. But again, in as well as we need more doctors, that does not mean that we should compromise quality. Anybody who is not in good health cannot do anything. So, and because of that one, that's why they often say that we are very strict. And in university training, even if you score 49% in medical programs, especially in clinicals, and your average is about 60%, you are deemed to have failed the entire exam. You have to go and repeat. You cannot toy with people's health. You cannot. Okay. You cannot toy.
You said something earlier about our carrying capacity back home, which has necessitated the establishment of more universities. And because of that, you get to see some parents sending their words to study medicine outside the country, maybe because of one reason or the other. And I just discovered that over time, there's been this controversy surrounding the professional assessment exams that you as a council, sets for these foreign trained, medical and dental graduates to enable them, establish practice in the country. What necessitated that even establishment? How was it? What prompted it to start with? What obtained before the decision to introduce that?
I think the introduction of the assessment exam started in the 80s in Nigeria here. Before, it was not. In the 70s, there was this bilateral relationship between Nigeria and some Eastern Europe countries, just so that Nigeria can actually fill the gaps in the professionals in medicine, engineering, and what have you. And it was discovered that people from the Eastern Bloc, there was some kind of suspicion about their competence. So that was why Nigeria had to introduce, although all along in advanced countries.
So that's for people going for studies?
Well, yes, okay. Yes. For some more developed countries, it has been the standing that you need to sit and pass the assessment exam in their country. Okay. But these are all was necessitated by those people because the deficiencies observed were so many that people cannot put the health of anybody in this country at risk. Coming to people sending their children abroad, yes, some of them could not get placement. But the fact is this, more than 90% of them did not have the requirement to read medicine or dentistry in Nigeria.
You're talking about the O-levels now?
O-levels, yes. O-levels. In Nigeria, you know some people can have even 5 A's. Because of the competition so high, yes, they couldn't get placement. Yes. I will give you an instance of a country called Venezuela. The students, somebody wrote NECO exam in 2012. And by October 2017, they've come back home with MD degrees 5 years after. Meanwhile, the medium of expression in Venezuela is Spanish. And when we scrutinize the NECO result, we were shocked to discover that most of these candidates did not have science background.
And they went to study medicine.
You see, those things, let me tell you, these things have been commercialized. And so they award you the degree, you won't stay in their country, you go back to your country.
Wow.
And we need to tell them, yes, we are developing world, but our place is not a place it's not a trash ground. It's not because it's the same life you have that we have. You come here and poach the best of our professionals. And yet, you are training some people anyhow and throw them back into their country. In Nigeria now, no matter where you come from, if you train in Nigeria, you'll be registered in Nigeria. But these people, they are not allowed to even work in those countries.
I thought with medicine, skills and the clinicals, are they not supposed to be in tandem everywhere?
That is what's supposed to be. We all know that in Russia, Ukraine, Belarus, and what have you, the medium of expression is their local language. How come you now float a parallel program in English language? And within the period of 6 years or 5 years, they are back. So when these people now come back and they are subjected to our assessment exam, we are not surprised at the abysmal failure recorded. Why must we toy with the health of the people?
In which of the areas are they really so deficient?
Clinicals.
Okay.
Clinicals. See, these are people who are trained on mannequins. These dolls. They don't see patients. Unlike our own system here, which is from year 3, you have access to live patients and you do ward rounds. In fact, when you pass anatomy, physiology, and biochemistry in Nigeria...
Are you saying like our medical undergraduates have to work on cadavers here?
No, cadaver is preclinicals.
Okay.
This one is mannequins.
Okay.
Instead of working on live patients, okay, they are working on mannequins.
Dolls.
Dolls. What we used to know was, if somebody comes into all those countries, let them learn your local language for 6 to 12 months.
Yeah, that was the norm.
And come and go to the medicals together with your own children.
That was the norm.
That is not the norm now. Although there are a few of them that still go to those schools, learn the language for 6 to 12 months, join those schools where they are taught in their local language. Even despite that, their access to patients is still limited. But this set of people now, because of the quest for medical education from the developing countries, They just package all these things. Are we sure that those even teaching them in English language are doctors? Are we sure they are qualified to teach them?
Okay, I mean, the results I've seen in the course of my research wasn't really good. That's in terms of the failure rate now. And it's been consistent for some years now. For how long has this been so?
Well, since 2017, in fact, Council, having looked at this result, came up with 6 months remedial program being made compulsory for them and chose a teaching hospital in each of the geopolitical zones. Maiduguri for Northeast, AKTH for Northwest, Ilorin for North Central, Olabisi Onabanjo Teaching Hospital, Shagamu for Southwest, Enugu State University Teaching Hospital for Southeast, while University of Port Harcourt Teaching Hospital for South. And they were to pay the sum of 900,000 for that 6 months program. But you see, unfortunately, this thing was miscarried. It was misconstrued. They say they were to pay to, they are not to pay to MDCN. In fact, the initial bill brought up to MDCN was about 1.5 million. My chairman said, no, we can't subject all these things. Go and bring it down. That was why they brought it down to 900,000 naira with modified curriculum for them, so that they should take them into the basics of medicine. Unfortunately, this was misinterpreted, and we had to appear for National Assembly, and this had to be dropped. Go and do training wherever you can afford to have the training and present yourself for the exam.
For the assessment
exam. We want the good thing for this country. We want for these children, because we are aging. These are the people that will replace us. Yeah. If we fail to do what we're supposed to do now, when we grow old, we will regret it.
Baba, isn't, I don't know, what has the council done in terms of creating that awareness that will enable parents know where to even send their wards to outside the country for such training?
Find out from Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria where to go. Why is it that the people complaining are from a particular part of the world? Those who train in the US, in Germany, in France, in the UK, even in Ghana here.
Australia too.
Australia, when they come, they sit for it and they pass. Then something is wrong with our system there. That is an area we want people to look into.
How much are you carrying along like the National Assembly? Because it's a problem.
Since 2017, when this thing happened, every assessment exam we conduct, National Assembly is always represented there, both the House of Senate and Representatives. They were always on ground as observers. Okay. It's an assessment exam, not medical school exam. Assessment to assess whether you are competent to handle cases here.
But if they don't pass, there's no way they could practice in this country.
There's no way.
So one could just keep writing and writing until you get it right?
Thank you very much, ma. Even the same thing in PLAB, even USMLE. There are Nigerian doctors there for the past 10 years they've not been able to pass. Some of them even decided to abandon medicine or dentistry. Even
among those students, there are some who have the competence, who are intelligent enough to even study medicine.
You cannot rule it out.
It could be maybe the snag will be maybe where they went to study the medicine.
It's not impossible.
And of course, if for one reason or the other they are not able to pass this exam, what advice will you have for such as it is?
I don't think I have any other advice than what the council had put forward. That 6 months program, will have been the best for them. So that even the people who are going to anchor that, people who are medical student trainers in this country, you know, in the process, they will identify the deficiencies in some of these candidates and see ways of brushing them up. So when you look at the school start, they score between C4 and C6. Where somebody with 5 A's could not even get admission here. So, like you said, there could be a few that are highly intelligent, that are good, that can actually be competent. But they need to be prompted up. They need to be trained. You see, I'm not boasting. Our training in this country is very good. That is why you see foreign countries coming to poach Nigerian doctors.
Saudi Arabia, for example.
Saudi Arabia, not only Saudi Arabia, it's all over the world, even UK.
US too.
US also. Yeah. And when people go there for medical tourism, they are surprised that it's Nigerian doctors they meet there who have been trained locally, either from Ibadan, Usuka, ABU, Kano, Benin, Port Harcourt, who have emigrated. And that's what we're actually working on now, to see how we can retain them back so that we don't have this brain drain. Nigeria is spending so much money to train these people only for us to lose them to these countries where they think they can get better pay.
Okay, on a final note now, the Russian-Ukrainian conflict, it's on, unfortunately, and some of our students studying there affected have to come back home. What's the fate of such students?
Thank you very much, sir. That's what we copy. Now, at the beginning of this, my office had written to the office of the minister about the stranded Nigerian students, so that when we wanted to come back home, we are already trying to create spaces for them. But as I'm talking today, no parent had actually approached MDCN. They've not approached MDCN. So what can we do so that we can actually ask them, go to social school, go to social school? Because of course, those institutions will determine the level they are going to put them. We will not tell the institutions, put them in 100 level, put them in 300. No. The institutions will have to carry out an assessment.
Is the ideal thing for them to pass through the council?
They may not pass through the council, but be the regulatory body to give them soft landing, to help them. We can help them talk to those institutions. Even if there are no more spaces in those institutions, okay, we can try to say, let us increase the capacity carrying marginally to enable them contain these students. Okay. That's what we're trying to do.
Maybe some parents are not even aware of this. For those who might be willing to do that, but because of lack of information, can you just maybe say it's out there for viewers to be aware of?
Yeah, the problem is if you have any of your students or relations who are students who are already stranded, approach MDCN. We will give you the list of medical schools that can actually take you. Of course, don't think because MDCN had introduced you to those schools that we are going to force them to put it in a particular level. No. The level you are going to be put in will be dependent on the assessment made by that institution. If you are in 400 level in Ukraine and they believe you should not be more than 200 level here, so be it. We will not force any institution to place anybody in a particular level. Okay. Because we are dealing with the human life.
Does that apply to the public institutions or the private universities too?
Both of them, if there are spaces.
Okay.
Both of them, there are spaces.
We'll continue to track your activities because it's about ensuring quality. Yeah. The medical profession is a life-saving one, and that's why the physicians must get it right.
Yes.
On that note, Dr. Sanusi, I thank you for coming on Health Options to shed light on some of these issues. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much, Adia.
Let's now take you to our nature scanner for some do's and don'ts on how to take care of your spine. And this is where we end our show for this week. A quick reminder that you can go to our YouTube channel to watch the upload of this and other episodes of the program. Email us for your comments and contributions at healthoptions@nta.gov.ng. My name is Rabi Abdullah. Hope to see you again. Until then, keep well and stay safe.